Men of Reddit, what makes you most insecure? The general sense of loneliness and failure, which makes me feel pathetic. I hate that I'm losing my hair before 30. Baldness does not agree with me. I hate that the response to it is always just shave it off and rock it. Confidence is what matters. I absolutely hate the bald look with a passion. It's hard to be confident and rock it when you literally despise what you look like. Luckily I'm not there yet, but I feel I'm not far off. It's cause it's the only response. There's no cure for baldness, you just have to accept it, unless you want to wear a wig. I can only confirm this. The other options are really worse. Comb over, mug ring, it either makes it look like you're desperately holding on to the past, or just plain old. When I decided to shave it at around 28, balding since I was 16, it was goddamn liberating. Also, grow a beard if you can. Helps a lot too. Not able to trust people, being betrayed and cheated for so many times. Trust issues are 90% of the time the reason for my anxiety. That Alexander the Great, at my age, had conquered the known world. Well, his daddy left him the greatest army in the known world, so it's a little like comparing one's financial situation to a trust fund brat. Even though the brat turned out to be a financial genius. Don't forget about the most disciplined cavalry known to the ancient world at the time. Hammer and anvil. Never mind that he had Aristotle, lol, as a teacher. My lack of wealth. I don't care about money, but I do care about being stopped by security in stores on the assumption I'm there to rob it. I tend to wear a lot of hats, and at times, can dress a bit younger looking than I am, and deal with this on a regular basis. But how I've learned to cope with it is the fact that I know I'm doing nothing wrong, so if they want to judge then that's their own problem. Yeah, it's more the embarrassment of being followed around by security or having staff pester you to hurry up that gets me. Like it is sadly a humiliating experience for another person to let you know that they can read your class off of you so easily. It's like any confidence you had is gone, cause even if you're dressed nice you still look poor. I think you just helped me pinpoint why I hate going shopping. When I see my wife check out other men in front of me, I can fully accept she will find other people attractive in life, and I'm fine with that. But on the odd occasion when we are out and we are talking and I see her eyes track someone and I look to see what's interesting and it's another guy, talk to her about it for your sanity's sake. Be honest but not accusatory. Tell her it makes you feel bad and don't accept any responses that put it on your insecurities. Your feelings are valid and you deserve respect. Talking about it is hard, but not talking solves nothing. I've spoken about it before, but I made a mistake the first time because I let it build up for ages and lashed out at one point. We have since spoken calmly to try and address it, and things have been getting better. I've also tried to better deal with it. My skinny chicken legs. When my boyfriend was in high school he was sent to deliver a pass to a random classroom. He walked in and gave the pass to the teacher and whatnot, and as he's leaving he heard this girl say that thigh gap though. Seeing other men younger than me doing better than me. It's like every 25-year-old I see has a better job, drives a better car, has a better relationship with other people, eats better food, travels to more places. I feel like a ducking loser every time and it just reminds me why I'm still single and nobody wants me. I had a poor start in life. Parents divorced right before I was born. Dad had unlimited access to me and my brothers, but rarely bothered visiting. Mum was always out with her friends. Sometimes I'd not see her for over a day straight. We never seemed to have any money and didn't experience a lot. Dinners out were rare. Holidays or any form of travel were rarer still, and usually only to the same two places because it was cheap and familiar. I went hungry a lot. School was rough, I wasn't exactly the kind to fit in, and I couldn't always count on getting emotional support. I did have my brothers, but honestly one was a dick in the past and the other is kind of a dick now. My mother married a man who turned out to be a controlling, insensitive jerk, and she stayed with him for 10 years, just long enough to ruin my teens and early 20s, and I only have one grandparent who's actually interested in being in my life, but sorry to say she's one of the least intelligent or put together people I've ever met, and she's broke, so her usefulness has been extremely limited despite her good intentions. I grew up seeing a lot of arguments and tears and moments that were intended to be happy. Holidays, Christmas, dinners out etc. turn into opportunities for everyone to tear into each other. I'm weak. I couldn't deal with this, so I remained a shut-in with no drive in life. So now I'm 30 years old, have no degrees in anything, still working the same entry-level job I started 6 years ago, still driving what's now a 20-year-old car, still have never traveled, visiting my dad in the next state over doesn't count, still living in the same shithole town I swore I'd get out of, still never having been in a relationship or even had Dex yet. Still wondering how the duck do I fix myself when I just don't have the resources or assistance to do so. You don't have to look hard to find 20-year-olds who are already more accomplished than me, and seeing how shitty I'm doing by comparison just makes me feel like I'm worthless and undesirable. My weight in comparison to my girlfriend. She's a fitness instructor, while I work a desk job. I'm not huge or anything, but for example we went to Mexico and took pictures on the beach. She looks like a VS model and I look like I like pasta. Which I do. Edit. I've been in much worse shape than I'm now, and I do actively work out and eat decently. I just won't be able to be comparable to her, since she literally works out for a living. Edit. I do eat more than just pasta. Congratulations on your VS model, my fellow pasta friend. My high voice, which probably caused my social anxiety. It sounds like I never went through puberty. I'm 19-yo, and phone calls are exceptionally awkward. I'm less self-aware of it after I learned to deepen my voice, but it had gotten to a phase where I would only use signs to answer basic questions, like nodding and pointing to objects. You should try getting into singing. A male being able to hit high-pitched notes while being able to hit low ones is a very rare thing. The internet. Honestly, this is a great answer. With the age of the net, we have been exposed to so much more fakeness in people's lives that we now judge ourselves much harder than we should be. Long-term bachelorhood. It literally affects every single component of your life and factors into, if not outright propagates other various anxieties. Fear of dying alone. Long-term single doesn't help. Fear of social interactions. Again, long-term really doesn't help. Lack of motivation of self-improvement. You've guessed, being long-term single only compounds these issues. I feel like, if I approach any woman she will feel harassed. I feel bad for saying this, but looks play a big part in how women react whenever men approach them. This is true for both sides, but I think it has a lot to do with the idea that men are more aggressive/creepy than women, especially ugly ones. Also, the fact that men are not complimented as much also makes us feel we are worse looking than we actually are. So I'm not implying that you aren't good looking. Confidence plays a big part. It took me about 19 years to finally realize that I was considered good looking by most women. My girlfriend convinced me, so before this, I felt insecure whenever I had to engage in this type of situations. I know you didn't ask for any advice, but I felt like my comment could have a good impact in your perception regarding this topic. When the girl you're dating starts talking to you about her exes, especially when she still keeps in touch with some of them, just tell them. If a girl starts constantly talking about her ex, I'm gonna tell her that I don't have an opinion on a man I've never met, and that I'm in a somewhat awkward position to comment on such a situation. However, it is also important to know how her previous relationships went and how she dealt with it. In such situations I will pick up the general theme, for instance cheating, and try to direct the conversation to a more general level, rather than the individual situation with that specific ex. But if she goes something like, "Oh, my ex constantly hits me up. He's so annoying. Should I text him back?" then I won't get into this nonsense/bullshit bait topic and tell her the above. My height. Am 5 feet 6 inch male. Perfect height for getting ripped. Can fade into a crowd easily. Tall enough to get attention, but not the kind that you don't want. Lots of women like to see eye to eye. Literally. Height isn't everything. Work on the things that you can change and own the things that are fixed. People laughing at me for a mistake. I never want to participate in anything again.